From iRobot to Ex Machina, I think it's safe to say, based on the media out there, that humanity is both afraid and intrigued by a more robotic future. One of the things we need to do before that happens is perfect AI, artificial intelligence. And we may be far closer to that goal than apocalyptic films may have you believe. But what is the fear? That robots will take over the world? Yes. Most likely. I'm your host, Rachel Fisher, and here is our top 10 list of scary robots that will take over the Earth. What if tomorrow I showed up as a robot instead? A robot that didn't stumble over words or mispronounce names like a fiend. Well, it's possible because coming in at number 10, we have robotic actors. The UK-based humanoid robotics company Engineered Arts is currently working on a bot built through a collaboration of artists, animators, mechanical and computer engineers. Thespian was their first creation, a robotic actor that comes with songs, gestures, greetings, and impressions of celebrities. Currently, this little guy doesn't move on his own and is orchestrated like a puppet, actually with a hidden system of tracks and dollies behind it. But the goal is to get Thespian to strut on the stage like all the great human actors before them. In fact, the creators want to go so far as to actually create an entire troupe of actor robots with the ability to put on plays. Sounds more entertaining than dangerous, I know, but unless you're like me, an actor, this industry is already competitive enough. Imagine if these guys were introduced. Blood and oil would be shed. Coming in with a strong number 9, we have Geminoids. I think the goal of any AI robotics inventor would be to create something that becomes so complex that it blurs the line between robot and human. If you're a fan of Westworld, like me, then you may already know how far your empathy goes for the robot characters on the screen. The challenge of creating them to be as lifelike as possible is impossible to resist, especially for Hiroshi Ishiguro, who works at the laboratories of Osaka University. Using a mold of his own physique and programming his body language and voice text into it, he's even gone so far as to use his own hair on the android's head. Hiroshi is determined to prove that the soul can exist in anything, a belief which aligns with Shintoism, a common religion in Japan, which also explains why Japan is so comfortable with robots and their varying usages. Geminus means twin and is the Latin derivative of the word Geminoid, which is exactly what Hiroshi is attempting to make. Here's a clip, check it out for yourselves.
What is it like to sit in that room all day?
I'm very sad.
Sad.
I'm very sad.
Though the robot is currently controlled remotely, you can hear how clear the voice response is. And with his creators right beside him, the resemblance is astounding. He is also updating the appearance of the robot as his own appearance changes, like as he ages, he's gonna add wrinkles, and he isn't stopping there. A new Geminoid called Geminoid F was revealed by the inventor with the ability to change facial expressions far more intricately than those before it. It is considered the most realistic robot to date. Coming in at number 8, we have Seiya. COVID has been particularly hard for educators, parents, and students during this time, as learning has had to move mostly online. But imagine if you could have a teacher that could live in your very home without increasing the risk of you getting COVID or anything else, for example. That's where Seiya comes in. Despite the fact that she has to be manually moved around and her terrifying vacant facial features, Seiya is the first big step in the journey ahead. Professor Hiroshi Kobayashi believes that Seiya could eventually become an ideal solution for children living in isolated locations to receive education. He absolutely believes that this could give a lot of students an equal, consistent, high-quality education. But as you can see, there's a long way to go. But the fact that they're going there is pretty terrifying. I mean, can the teachers we know and love really be replaced by robots? Though Seiya has a pretty cool stare, if they can nail that like disappointed in you look, oh, we're in trouble. Next up, we have basically anything that comes out of Boston Dynamics, especially after watching this video. If you think things will take a turn for the worst, I'm pretty sure humans will be on their hit list. Take a look. Despite how crazy cool it is, a weird part of you can't help but feel like a little sad for how they're treating this poor guy, like knocking him over, which might be a bad sign. This humanoid-like robot is the next generation of Atlas. See, we've already named it. We're attached to it. Atlas is an electrically powered robot that uses a combination of complex hydraulics and sensors to maintain balance, navigate terrain, avoid obstacles, and manipulate objects. No, There is no person with a control pad. They do it all by themselves with their programming. Which begs the question, how long until they do other things for themselves? Like turn on after everyone is gone, and then plot in the dead of night their uprising against the human race? I mean, after the way they've just been treated, at least we know who they'd hurt first. But speaking of Boston Dynamics, next up we have a very big dog. Or at least that's his nickname. Big Dog was created by Boston Dynamics and are designed to be able to travel across a variety of rough terrain. Like dogs, there are many different breeds, like the Sand Flea, which can jump 10 meters in a single bound, while others like the Wildcat can travel 32 kilometers an hour while maneuvering rough terrain like rocks and mountains. The LS3 has a more carrier mule-like purpose designed to help support soldiers by carrying their packs behind them, and the Big Dog was the first four-legged foot soldier to leave the shop and serves a similar purpose to the LS3, as it's designed to carry supplies across military terrain and navigate obstacles by using its hypersensitive sensors. So, 1, we know it's close with the military. 2, it's terrifying. Imagine coming across that thing walking towards you. And it has a perfect underdog story. They're sick of having to carry all our stuff around. They've had enough. What if they turn around and try and make us carry their stuff? Battle will commence. Okay, now you've probably imagined some kind of robotic invasion at some point already, but what about robotic zombie invasion? This next machine I'm going to be talking about has started a conversation surrounding the use of insects as fuel. Take a look at this creepy video.
Take this clock, for example. You never need to change the batteries or plug it in, because it gets its energy from eating these things.
I've never felt so sorry for a fly in my life. I've never felt so sorry for a fly in my life. It's like his own personal like horror movie. He's just on the conveyor belt going to his death and he's waiting for anyone to save him. It's so sad. This is quite literally a carnivorous clock. A clock designed to use insect flesh as fuel. UK design students James Auger and Jimmy Loiseau got the inspiration for this machine from plants like the Venus flytrap. You know, a plant that slowly devours insects? Yeah. The insects are trapped on the sticky paper and rolled across the conveyor belt before dropping them into a vat of bacteria. Might as well be acid. What happens next is a chemical reaction similar to digestion, which transforms into power to keep the clock going. Now they wonder, could this be the future of robotics? Instead of electricity, your household bot could just eat spiders or the mosquitoes that bother you so much. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? But at some point you have to teach them how to distinguish one flesh from the other. They would have to hunt them. But what if their appetite becomes so large? They hunt you next. When we picture robots taking over the world, it's usually hundreds of humanoid creatures running at us with like lasers and other weapons. But the thing that can make that possible is called artificial intelligence, and we are getting so close to perfecting it. It's so scary. If you love shows like Big Brother, then you might be delighted to know that you're already on it. AI has a superhuman ability to recognize faces in the blink of an eye. For instance, we can unlock our phone or Facebook or Instagram tags our friends in pictures before we've even done it. They just do it automatically. But this technology has also led countries to utilize this extraordinary surveillance as much as they can. Countries like China have even begun using face recognition for policing and government surveillance. This technology is a formidable way to invade privacy and may absorb any human biases to allow for discrimination. If you fear a 1984 dystopian future, well, it may be closer than you think. Coming in at number 3, we have CB2. CB2 sounds about as cute as BB-8 and R2-D2, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Disarm you with cuteness before it strikes. But actually, when you look at the pictures of CB2, it does kind of have like a creepy child in a horror movie type vibe. So not too cute. Developed in Japan, CB2 is supposed to replicate the way a child learns and develops over time by interacting with humans, observing their facial movements and mimicking their social cues, things like that. The more it observes, the more it evolves, and the idea is to eventually develop a robot that has developed just like a human would have. It can record emotional responses and match them with physical sensations and store that information inside themselves. CB2 even taught themselves how to walk within just 2 years. Their goal is for CB2 to be able to form their own sentences and match the intellect of a growing child. And this is just the beginning. Their end goal is to create a robotic soccer team that competes in the World Cup. First up, dominate the sports world. Next up, world domination. Neurala, which is an AI tech company in Boston, Massachusetts, created what is known as the Neurala brain. What is it? Is it another AI robot? Well, not quite. I know we said scary robots in this title, but the Neurala brain makes it onto this list simply because it can make every pre-existing AI device better. That's right, the Neurala brain is an AI software that makes any kind of device the best version of itself. It's AI that knows technology inside and out and is already integrated into more than 9 million devices. Major corporations like NASA, DARPA, Motorola all use Neurala. Its main uses right now are to improve the intelligence of cars, cameras, and phones. It's also used in drones to help spot corrosion in machinery and help spy on poachers. Sounds pretty safe and useful right now, but what if someone wanted to use this technology to make what they're already making into something more deadly, perhaps? Who knows? And last but not least, we have Sophia, the AI. If you're still haunted by the film I, Robot, then you have already been following the development of our #1 slot, Sophia. Sophia was created by Hanson Robotics based in Hong Kong, China. She is the world's first robot citizen and innovation ambassador for the United Nations Development Program, and has already spoken at hundreds of conferences around the world. She's even been on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Sophia is designed as a social robot, meaning her primary function is to be able to have authentic social interactions with humans, so she'll eventually be exactly like a human. Her face is made of a material called flubber, which, like, I can't believe they called that. That's my favorite movie. Giving her a more realistic facial expressions whenever she smiles or reacts. So this is literally the closest thing. Like, she reacts like a human would to situations. She even tells jokes, and there's no person with like a remote control at all. It's all her. So, creepy as hell. And that was our top 10 list of scary robots that will take over the earth. If you like this video, remember to like and comment and subscribe and let us know if you think we missed any, or just your thoughts in general, or funny jokes. We love hearing about them. We love hearing from you, and thank you so much for the support. We love your support. As scary as this list might be though, you have to kind of sit down and go, wow, that's pretty cool. These inventions are intense. Like, I had to stop a couple times and go, damn, like that's insane considering where we were around 100 years ago. Oh, there's so much more to come. I've been your host, Rachel Fisher, and hopefully I'm not a bot next time you see me. Take care, guys. I mean, after the way they've just been treating it at the... This next machine I'm going to be talking about. Why? Oh no. Why? The challenge of creating them to be as